I remember in Spanish class, there was a popular kid in my Spanish class. His name was Justin.
Justin
B. I won't say his last name. He's actually a very nice person. But
was it the Beeb?
No, it was not Justin Bieber. I did not go to high school. Which really needs.
I'm going to refer to this guy as Justin Bieber from now on. So Justin Bieber in your Spanish class.
So Justin Bieber sat right next to me.
Mm-hmm.
And one day we were taking an exam. It was silent. You could hear a pin drop. And he rips ass. Like he totally farts in the middle of class.
Like was it a...
Like a... And everyone can hear it. You'd have to be deaf not to hear it. And people start to giggle. And I remember at the time being like, finally one of the popular kids gets to experience humiliation. And in that classy motherfucker, all he did was look up from his exam and go, oh, excuse me. And then went back to work. And everyone went about their business. And I was like, no, this isn't fair. That's not fair. How come the popular kid gets to fart and everything's fine, but if I fucking rip ass, I'll never show my face here again? I was so upset. I felt like I had been fucking robbed of something that I deserved to see. I was so upset.
All right, Gavin, how about this? Your brother and your dad, right?
Well, for God's sake, that's the same thing, isn't it?
No, it's totally different. Your brother and your dad both have cancer.
Ugh.
And
Sorry to
the
hear that,
only
Gavin.
way to save them... All right, you were filming a Slow Mo Guys video out in a field, right? And a meteor struck. And it imbued you with the power of radioactivity to stop cancer. But only once. And it has to be administered with your penis and semen. So you have cancer-healing jizz, but only one time, right? Because there was only one meteor.
Only one bullet in the gun.
And your dad and your brother were both there, and since they didn't get hit with the same meteor, they got hit with the fallout, then they're both going to die a really painful, sad death. And you can save one of them, but you have to administer it anally.
I would chop off my dick and give it to them and let them settle it.
Dude, that's a big sacrifice.
Let them settle it.
I would have sex with your
Jizz
brother.
in a jar.
And here's why. Your dad's had a good life. And I'm
Yeah.
sure that's what he would want. He would want your brother to live.
Yeah, but
So I saved my brother and he can never look at me again.
Oh, he'll look at you.
and he'll be like, "You
not the
killed my
same way.
father."
So would that be a situation whereby you would then owe that person a favor forever, or they would owe you a favor forever?
Well, it depends
It's
on
like,
depends on perspective.
Pretty
I guess,
sure it'd
really.
ruin the family.
like, you got to do this for
It
me.
would've ruined the
I saved your
family.
life. You got to do this for me. You put your dick in my ass.
Fucking Christ. God damn.
Years and years ago, went to sushi with somebody, and it was Matt and I and this person, and it was a business thing, and we ordered edamame, and we're eating the edamame, and if you've never done this before, it looks like pea pods, and you eat the beans out of the middle, and then take the husk and put them in another bowl, so you end up at the end of the night with a bowl of these husks, and this guy just starts eating out of that bowl, like starts like really hard, like chewing on the husks, like trying to tear them apart, and at one point he went to the bathroom and I was like, Matt, he goes, oh my God, what are we gonna do about this? He was like, should we like get rid of the bowl? Like we try to get the waiter to come get the bowl. You know, it was like neither one of us
He's
could,
eating
like,
your spit.
yeah. And the weird thing was like he was eating the edamame first, and
Oh,
then
so he went from the right bowl to the...
Yeah.
He's like, man, this stuff got really crappy
it might have
halfway
been like
through.
a power move, man. It might have been like I don't give a fuck.
Someone
You know?
starts eating their silverware, like,
Yeah.
you done with this? Not me.
Yeah. It's because we were probably so distracted. We're probably so distracted. He's like grabbing these husks and going, so you guys are cool with that if I own half the company? Like, we're like, yeah, whatever, dude.
Go away, you gross person.
Like a lunatic. Because we were totally not listening to the conversation. You did that thing where it's like all of a sudden you hear the person asked a question, like the end of the sentence went up, and you're like, what? Uh-huh, yeah.
The
I was listening.
waitress offers dessert. He's like, no, I'm good. And he just eats your napkins.
Just rips
All
them
right.
up.
Somebody on Twitter asked me, they said, Bernie, if you won $1 billion in the lottery, what would you get for Rooster Teeth? And I was like, 2 middle fingers and a cloud of dust. I would have $1 billion and I wouldn't tell anybody. And I would spend money like normal, except in very extraordinary circumstances. Like if I'm at a restaurant and the food is late, I would step away from the table, buy the restaurant, and then fire the waiter in front of everybody. That's the kind of thing I would do if I had $1 billion. Like, what's that going to cost?
What I would love to do is I would write joke checks to all my friends like, here you go, Gavin, here's $1 million, ha ha ha. I'd be like, if he cashes it, he would literally get $1 million.
What would you do
With $1 billion?
with $1 billion? Would you still work here?
Yeah. Although I just put hundreds like down my trouser leg, so when I walk, they would just like come out sometimes. Leave a little trail.
They're at the age, right? They're fucking getting into mischief on Halloween.
JD won't want to go. JD's at that age as a teenager when you still want the candy, but you don't want to dress up and you see those fucking teenagers walking around.
Yeah.
Like, what are you dressed as? Oh, I'm dressed as a teenager. It's like, get the fuck out of here. I'm not giving you any goddamn candy. I think that JD might be at that age, but Teddy's still like, he's down with the costumes. JD was especially proud because he likes to have a scary costume that people react to. And one year he had a costume that basically just a black cloak, and then it was a black like nylon mask, couldn't see anything. And then he had these goggles he wore underneath these that were these big red circles eyes. So it had this, it looked like the world's most evil Jawa. And we went to a house and there was a little kid like 3 years old dressed as Superman. And JD's walking up the sidewalk to go to that door, and that little kid turns around to come down. Kid freaks out, runs down the length of the porch. It was like the whole length of the house, and jumps off into a bush. Like literally, and that's like JD's happiest
Did he jump
memory.
like Superman? Did he dive like he was gonna fly?
No,
Or
he just
was
like totally ate shit into the bush.
Did he scream too?
Yeah, he was crying the whole way. We went when we were in college, and Matt was working on this movie, and we met up with some people, and there's this one girl in the group who wanted to go to Oil Can Harry's, and Matt was like, "Sure, we'll go." And I'm like, "Okay, I guess we're going to Oil Can Harry's." So we like walk down there, we get in. The dude who like checks our ID at the door is this dude in a super fucking tight white t-shirt, basically looks like Blaine, you know? And he's got this little like twinkier guy next to him, and then we go in, and then there's a dude dancing on the bar in a thong and a banana hammock, and there's another dude down at the other end of the bar dancing the same way. It took Matt fucking 20 minutes to figure out we were in a game.
No.
It's like we're in a conversation with 4 people, and Matt's like this. We're talking, and Matt goes, and then he looks at me and I go, yes. I had a buddy in college that I would hate going to bars with, and I'll come up with a name for him, Bruce. His name was Bruce. And I knew every time we'd go with this guy to a fucking club, he would get in a fight every single time because he would get super drunk. He was a big dude, he was pretty heavy, but he was also like 6'7". He was just a huge person. And first of all, guys would always want to fight him because he's the biggest guy around. That was the thing. But then he would do this other thing too, where he'd get super drunk. He'd go in the bathroom, and he would be pissing next to somebody, and he'd feel like, I guess he wanted to get into a fight. And he'd be sitting there pissing. He'd lean over, and he'd look at the guy next to him and he'd go, "Hey, buddy, nice cock." And it was just like, we'd be sitting there at the club, and all of a sudden Bruce would, the men's room door would open, and they'd just come out fucking they go into the first table, and they go down, it's like, Bruce must have told somebody they had a nice cock.
Have I told the story before? Fuck! Hurt! Fuck! Hurt! Have I told the story before? Fuck! Hurt! Fuck! Hurt! Have I told the story before? Fuck! Mush, 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 mush. Hurt! Have I told the story before? Fuck! Mush, 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 mush. Hurt! Have I told the story before? Fuck! Mush, 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 mush. Hurt! Have I told the story before? Fuck! Mush, 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 mush. Have I told the story before? Fuck! Mush, 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 mush. Have I told the story before? Fuck! Mush, 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 mush.
Dishing out garlic and breadsticks now. Cheddar bay biscuits are out of the style. Girl, I dirty talk you every night and day, provided you don't smother me in titties.
New message from Kevin Free. You are a punk cunt.
Dishing out garlic and breadsticks now. Cheddar bay biscuits are out of the style. Girl, I dirty talk you every night and day, provided you don't smother me in titties.
God, this is fucking stupid. God, this is fucking stupid. God, this is fucking stupid. Guys, no, seriously. What are you even doing? Why isn't everyone working? Get out of here!
My waiter today at the restaurant, the Mexican restaurant I went to, his name was, I gotta say it with a straight face. He goes, "Okay, if y'all need anything else, just give me a call. My name is Loaf." I was like, and he left, and I go to Matt, I go, "Did the guy say his name was Loaf?"
Did he come back over and he's like, "Are you guys ready to order?"
I'm always so impressed by your shite jokes.
Yeah.
They come so fast.
And you know, at the beginning of Gangnam Style, there's like that little kid who comes out and like is dancing.
Yeah. How old do you think that kid is?
I was gonna say like 10.
He's a good dancer.
Mm-hmm. He was serious. So Gangnam Style, I think, is like around 1.5. No, stop. Like people, I know a lot of people get like super excited about March Madness and the playoffs are like, oh, I don't fucking care.
Like March Sadness.
Yeah, March Sadness. Like March Badness. But that also reminds me of the Mexican drug lord, El Chapo, who just broke out. And this guy's specialty, what he was known for, was digging tunnels.
Really?
He has broken out of custody before by digging tunnels under bathrooms, which is exactly what happened this time.
El Digo, then?
Very good.
Would you ever let Smigo be an outdoor cat?
I don't know. Probably not.
Joe's an outdoor
He
cat.
wants to smee the world.
I watched Thor, and I was so disappointed early in the Avengers, and I was like, oh, shit. This is the Thor story.
Yeah.
Did it leave a Thor spot on you?
Uh-huh.
My cooking skills have not progressed since college. I make spaghetti and eggs and fish.
Go. Fish is so complicated to make.
No, it isn't.
Not.
No, it isn't. No, not my fish. You just get some fish that are raw.
What kind of fish?
What?
Name a fish, Chris.
Fish.
Sword.
Sword.
Swordfish.
You buy swordfish?
That's expensive. You just said name a fish. I was thinking of fish.
What fish you cook? I'm gonna go to the butcher and go to the fish section and go, I want sword.
No, just say I want fish.
I want to buy one fish, please.
And then I just, I put it in what I do for cooking, I just put like dressing on it, like salad dressing.
You put like Italian salad dressing?
Yeah, whatever dressing I have.
Ranch?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh.
It's whatever dressing I have, I just put dressing on it, and then I'm like cook it. I'm like, oh, it tastes like
so many
balsamic
steps.
vinegar.
Do you put like Thousand Island on it?
Sure,
Like, look, it's like you're back in the ocean, swimming amongst the islands.
Because I could vary up my flavors by what dressing I have. Can we get a Michelin star for a food truck?
I don't know how he couldn't qualify. I have no idea with that stunning recipe of fish and dressing.
What kind of dressing? Whatever.
Whatever.
What kind of fish? I would like sword with. By the way, did you see that NASA released more information about an exoplanet they found? It was like a full lava planet, and it was like underneath the lava, there was a layer of carbon, and then everything flows in different directions depending on the season and all that stuff. I'm like, I can't believe people are still buying this fucking bullshit. All the fucking flowery language about what's going on that planet, it's all fucking bullshit. It's all bullshit. Because they released this fucking thing the other day about this planet that's made of lava with a layer of carbon, and it's 150 goddamn light years away. And it's like, I want to go, hey, NASA, how many planets are in our solar system? Just a count. They're like, I don't know, 8? 9? 8? What's today? Wednesday? There's 9. We think there's another planet in our solar system, but we're not sure. Like, Bill over here was on the fucking telescope and saw a goddamn shadow. Tell him about the shadow, Bill. I saw a shadow. We think it was a ninth fucking planet. We can't even count the planets in our solar system, and we're telling people what a fucking planet looks like 130 fucking light years away.
I can't wait for them to get like super crazy with it. Like, so then below the flowing carbon layer, there's a Happy Meal layer. And it's just filled with McDonald's Happy Meals. We don't know how they got there.
I saw
in the northern hemisphere, there's a mountain, and if you look at it in the right way, it looks like a dog. It's amazing.
I used to drink tequila all the time until my 21st birthday, and then we don't talk about my 21st birthday.
No, let's talk about your 21st birthday.
not.
Our friend Billy Maddox came down like an angel for your 21st birthday, and he said, Miles, I'm going to get you a shot. This shot called liquid cocaine, from what I remember, because he wouldn't let Miles watch the bartender make it, and I watched him make it. It's Jaeger, Goldschlager, and Bacardi 151. He came down, ordered the shot for you, gave you the shot, watched you drink it, and then like a little devil flew off into the middle of the night and said, he's your problem now, bitches!
I don't remember anything after that.
Oh, man. And were you a handful? Oh, like at the end of the night, you're passed out behind a bar. We're waiting for our ride to pick us up, and you passed out in an ant pile. And you start like flinging your arm in this like,
I don't remember this.
Making these like guttural noises like, and I'm like, Miles, what's wrong? Get off! And it's like, I see that there are ants on your arm. So I have to like pick you up, and you're sweating like a pig, and I have to like throw you in the car.
You and I used to do this thing where like the Chronicle would post like early tickets to see a movie, and we would go stand in line at a store for 4 hours so we could see a movie for free early. And so we saw The Punisher early.
Oh God,
the Thomas Jane Punisher.
Oh, yeah.
And Gus had just moved back from Puerto Rico.
And
the opening shot, it's like this gorgeous Caribbean paradise, and it says Aguadilla, Puerto Rico. And Gus goes, what the fuck is this? I just lived there for a year and a half. That is not anywhere near it. Where are the trash bags? Why is the electricity working? And
And he like went on this rant, and everybody in the theater was like, "What the fuck?" He's been back for like 3 weeks.
That's not even the worst I've ever done in the theater. One time, we're gonna go see Bewitched. Remember the Bewitched remake?
But Will Ferrell.
I got
totally.
really drunk before the movie started, and then I snuck in bottles of Coke that were filled with alcohol, and I just kept drinking, and people were laughing at it and having a good time, as people do at the movies, but I was so drunk and angry, I started screaming at the movie audience. I was like, what are you all laughing at? This movie's terrible!
Christ.
I had to get dragged out of that movie theater.
What? I almost got beat up in a movie theater. Was watching Tropic Thunder. The fucking asshole in the row in front of me kept answering his phone and obnoxiously talking to somebody to the point where I know you're not doing this to convenient. I know you're just like trying to piss every one of us off. So finally I got so angry, I was like, can you get off your fucking phone? And the guy stood up, looked at me and was like, you want to take this outside? I'll beat the shit out of you. I'll beat the shit out of you. And I just kind of stood there and didn't do anything. And I was just like, okay. And he walks away, gets out of the theater. And then as I'm leaving, this guy comes up to me, kind of like, looks, really nerdy shirt. And he was just like, I would have had your back, bro. I would have had your back. Fucking bullshit. If I got punched in the face, nobody would have done a thing. Yeah.
All right, but
I was
he
the
would have
people.
called the ambulance for you.
Yeah,
he would have been there. He would have found your back where it was thrown in the woods and put it back on you.
But it was immediately one of those things that as soon as you say it, you're like, this was not a great idea. How am I? This is.
Yeah. What you do is you say, yeah, let's take it outside. And he leaves and you just sit back down.
That's right.
He goes out one way, you go out the other exit, like the fire exit.
Yeah.
Just, like, run to your car. Just don't look back.
And then hit him with it.
Yeah.
I a Tinder date where it's like I was like iffy on like meeting up anyway because like some of these pictures the girl's cute and some I was like I don't know. We met up and immediately I was just not interested in, partly because when she introduced herself she sounded like a 60-year-old smoker.
Yeah.
Hey Chris,
That's
over here.
That's exactly what it's like. Hey, nice to meet you. It's like, oh. And then I ordered a beer, and she ordered a beer and 2 shots. Dude, can I get 2 shots of whiskey? It was just like also like a Tuesday night. I was not like I didn't want to take shots, but which is good because there's 2 shots came out and she took both of them. It's like, dude, hey, you want to go outside for a cigarette? No.
You should be like, you smoke?
So we're out, we're talking, and I was like, well, where's the coolest place you've ever been to? And she's like, oh, probably Australia. Australia's crazy. I was like, I've been to Australia before. Where in Australia did you go? And she's like, New Zealand.
Oh, so she sounded like that and she was dumb?
And I was like, you mean you went to New Zealand and Australia? And she's like, no, I went to New Zealand, Australia. And then so I was like, well, why did you go to Australia? Oh, it was a stripper convention. We were just doing a bunch of drugs.
What did she give us like a picture?
Okay, imagine an attractive lady and then add 20 years of drugs and smoking.
I would like to find her profile and see that she's like smoking crack in one picture and like doing coke in another, and you're like, I don't know what.
Oh, by the way, you guys are 90s kids. Did you drink Surge growing up?
Yeah.
No.
Did you know?
Well, I stopped because it shrunk your penis.
What?
How because it shrunk my penis?
How shrunken did your penis get from Surge?
No. It was just like the rumor. Like that's all it takes in middle school. Everyone stopped drinking it. I honestly think that's the reason they failed.
Do you think like some kid's mom told him that and then he told every other kid?
I don't know.
Like how people say like eating your vegetables help you.
Watch out, honey. I don't want your penis to shrivel off from drinking too much Surge. Why would a mother say that?
That is true. Why would a mother come up with that? How do I get him to stop drinking this sugary drink? Hey, Jimmy, your cock's going to shrink if you keep drinking that. I've seen like 4 of the Harry Potter movies. All I remember is Dobby. That's literally the only thing I remember. I remember Quidditch. I remember Dobby. And I remember they were in a tournament where they were going to win a cup.
Do you remember giant chess?
No. Paintings that look at you.
What about the bloke on the other bloke's back of his head?
The dude with the crazy eye? I know that guy.
You were in a dream I had the other night.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sexy.
I had a dream that I was at home and there was a knock on my door.
I don't go to your house.
It wasn't you. It was the cleaning lady from here at the studio. And I let her in and she said, you need to help me. Bernie's trying to kill me.
Yep.
And I said, what?
Really
and she said, he's outside right now. And I looked out the window and into the driveway and you were parked in your car and you went like this to me, except you were actually shooting.
I was?
With his hand?
Yeah. And so I was like,
That's like the idea.
yeah, like totally calm, like in your car, like, and I was like, and then I woke up and I was like, what the fuck was that about?
It means watch your back is all that means.
I used to do that when I was a
Have
kid.
we-
I'd take my clothes off all the time.
You've told me that.
Yeah.
You were just
Until I
a
was
free
like
spirit.
5, yeah. I would just be like, oh, we're at Denny's? Get the shit off.
Wait, just whip your shirt off.
Oh, everything off.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I would just get naked in public. They were really afraid to send me to kindergarten. They're like, Carrie, you gotta stop taking your clothes off.
Please don't embarrass the family.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm trying to think, like, as a kid, I remember my brother and I constantly hiding in the racks of clothing at department
Oh,
stores.
I did that all the time.
That was the best.
In the circle thing?
Yeah.
And then your mom would call out for you and wait till she get close and you go, ah.
Yeah, yeah. You know, you just like hide from her despite the fact that she's calling out your name on the verge of tears, worried that
Yeah.
she's lost her child.
Yeah.
You're like, stupid bitch.
Oh, no, you gotta wait till they cry.
Oh,
You
yeah.
gotta wait
Is that
till
how
they
you
start
win?
crying, yeah.
If mom cries, you win.
I used to do this thing with my brother mainly, and we'd like take it in terms to blindfold each other and like spin each other around, and then you just give them instructions on like what to do and where to turn. And like the part of the fun would be like making them think that you're on their side, like, oh yeah, walk, take a step, turn left, and they'd be fine, and then like immediately walk them into a wall or something. But the best thing I ever did is I was like, all right, I'm going to set up an obstacle course and we'll see if you can navigate it. So I like pretended to pull this stuff out, and I was like, all right, now take a big step over this thing, and I made him blindfold step his foot like straight into the toilet, and I felt so satisfied and immediately bad at the same time.
You know how some people make up languages and they'll talk in make-believe languages when they're young? My brother and I sort of did that, except we didn't make up a language. We talked like British people.
Go on then.
And what that was like we
Yeah,
wouldn't.
what does that mean?
We wouldn't actually be like, "Oh, hello, what's going on?" We would go, "Oi, it's important for me if you bought." Oh, and you always end it with, and that's how it always ended. My mother was mortified because we go to like the grocery store to be like, "Oi, oi," and I'd hold up Lucky Charms, and be like, "Oi, you want a little John that?" No, what a pop. What a pop! And then she was like, all right.
It was like it's like y'all were soccer hooligans like before it was cool.
What?
In my previous job, we had a guy that worked with us who had a couple of really weird, annoying habits. I liked the guy a lot. There was one habit that he had where, you guys probably are too young to remember these, but some of the early like cell phones, it was just a little brick about this big, and it had like an earpiece. Then you move the earpiece up, and that's how you answered it. So he would always have his ringer on full blast, and it's like not everyone at this point had a mobile phone. So it was kind of like a new thing that people had mobile phones. So his phone would ring, and it would be ringing at full volume, and he would get it out like this. It would go ring, and he'd pick it up, and it'd go ring, and then he'd look at it and go ring, and he'd wait for it like this, and then it would ring the fourth time, and he'd go click, hello. It was so fucking annoying. He'd do it every fucking time. Especially like, it doesn't matter how quickly he got it out of his pocket, he would always hold it there until it rang one more time, and then he would answer it.
Did he want everyone to know? He's like, I'm
Pretty
receiving a phone call.
That's all I can think is that the guy wanted everyone to know he had
He
it.
also got on a plane one time.
This is the other thing that reminded me of it. Go for it.
He had a
Jess.
laptop when laptops were again also much more rare and much more expensive. We were flying to LA for some reason, and we get to cruising altitude. He busts out his laptop and starts playing like that built-in pinball game,
Microsoft Pinball,
like in Windows 2000 or something.
That game's
And then
wicked, by the way.
But he
Space
has the
pinball?
volume at full blast
Oh,
with
that's
no headphones.
obnoxious as
and, like,
well.
everyone in the area in the plane's like,
we're like, hey, we're like, we can hear your game, and he's like, mm-hmm. And it's like he wouldn't turn it down. It's like I said, dude, you're annoying everybody with that. Turn it off. And he's like, it's fine. Like just playing away. Play for like 20 minutes at full volume. A lunatic.
I used to love that.
he played for
pinball
20 minutes because that was battery life for a laptop.
It was
in the year 2000.
and then it was dead.
Yep.
That's an X-ray of my leg.
So do you have
right
pins in there now? Or?
God. That whole experience, because it was during
What?
a football game, and I just tackled somebody when it happened. You're like full of adrenaline. It felt like someone had kicked me in the shin really hard. So I was like, all right, yeah, whatever. And I get up off the field, and I go to step, and I just fell out. And I was like, what the hell? So I stood up again, and I went to take a step again, and I looked down as I stepped again. I saw the top half of my shin go that way, the bottom half go that way. And so I just sat on the thing. So I was like, ref! Like the ref came over, so they stopped the game. And they were wheeling me off past the other team. And literally as I'm going by, I just went, good luck, guys, like that, and my leg was like, blah, like on the thing.
no.
It was just going, and then they put me in the ambulance, and as soon as the doors closed, I was just like, it was like a discount ambulance. They like made me a splint out of like a pillow they found and scotch tape. Like it was like the pillow was here, and they were like, and the gurney wasn't even like tied down in the ambulance. Like I was like going around, and they didn't take the pads off of me, so I was like in the pads on the thing.
Look, that might have been all that was holding you together.
I like this. Like he fractured his leg. Leave the shoulder pads on.
But also my gymnastics coach was the guy in charge of uniforms, and he was just complaining to me about like It's like, we're running low on all these things. Like, you know, we got to keep ordering them. So in the hospital here, and they're like, okay, now we got to cut these things off of you. And I'm like, my coach will kill me. Can't do it. And they're like, we got to cut this off of you. I'm like, nope, you're not doing it. So they brought in another nurse to hold my leg together as they pulled them down.
Oh, wow. Anytime I've ever been
them.
in a hospital experience, like, people saying that, they're like, shut the fuck up. But I'm also from New Jersey.
If somebody approaches me in public, if someone tries to sell me something, or someone tries to like have me answer a quiz, or like no, I don't want to do any of that stuff. Like if the person does not know my name, there's no reason for us to be talking.
Have you ever encountered those guys that are like, hey, you want to save a kid's life or something like that? And they have like
I would say I fucking hate kids, and I keep walking.
Those guys are the worst. I came across one that was like a choose your own adventure, where I came out of Chipotle, and there's this big like fountain thing in the middle, and on the one side that day was this homeless couple that always badgers me, and on the other side was two of those people that were signing you up to save kids' lives. And I like actually like stood there and was like, I don't know which path to go down.
I will go back and live in Chipotle.
The first year I moved here, I got approached by a girl, and she had a clipboard. She was like, hey, we're talking to people today. What do you think of Planned Parenthood? And I was like, what's Planned Parenthood? And she was like, yeah, all right. And like thought I was being a prick, but I had no idea what Planned Parenthood was.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I was totally gonna.
Well, sometimes like there was one, I forget what it was, but Jeff and I, when our office was downtown, we would have competitions to see who come up with the strangest thing to reply. And one time there was one where it was like, hey, do you want to help us save trees, or what do you think about trees? And I just looked at him and went, my father was killed by a tree. And I just kept walking. So while I was in New York, I went to the Natural History Museum. So I was looking at the minerals and gems exhibit. And there's an exhibit where it's just like a bunch of quartz, and I'm just there staring at this stupid quartz. And this like teenage girl comes up and like elbows me out of the way. And she gets her cell phone camera out and like starts taking a picture of this quartz. And she's there with her friend, and she turns to her friend and goes, I love diamonds. They're my favorite. And it's like, if you just look like 2 inches down, you'll see in big letters it says quartz. This would be like the biggest diamonds in the world.
You know what they say, diamonds are a girl's best friend.
If they were diamonds.
Clink.
A little later, we were walking around, and I saw this penny press machine. Where you put in like 2 quarters and a penny, and like you crank the handle, and it spits out like a deformed penny. So there was a change machine next to it, which gave you quarters, but did not give you pennies. But it was right by the gift shop, so I go to the gift shop, and I'm like, hey, can I just get some change? I want a couple of pennies for the penny press out there. Like, oh, we can't open the cash register unless you buy something. So I was like, all right. And I just grabbed like some gummy bears. I want to buy these. And the guy opens up the register and gives me change. But the pennies he gives me are like super dull and like cruddy. But I see some shiny ones in the register. So the guy gives me my change. Like, wait. I was like, can I trade these 2 pennies for those 2 shiny ones you have right there? And the guy's like, what? I was like, well, I told you I'm going to go use a penny press. And you gave me these dull pennies. I see 2 shiny ones on top. Can I just trade you these 2 for those 2? And he's like eyeing the shiny pennies in his register.
Why is this such an issue for him?
I know. And so I give him the 2 dull ones, and he's like looking at them. Then he pulls the 2 shiny ones out and starts examining them. Like I'm trying to pull some kind of scam on him. Like I noticed a special penny in the register, and he's like comparing them. And then the shiny ones were the kind with the shield on them. And that's like setting off all of his alarms. And I was like, I told you. I just want to go use the penny press machine. Can you please just give me those 2 fucking pennies?
Is that when you pulled out your gun and held them up?
One of my favorite jokes when I was a kid is there's 3 guys and they have bricks. They find a pile of bricks and they want to see who can throw bricks up in the air the highest. But they can't tell from the ground how high they're going to go up. But the ground's all muddy. So one guy says, hey, if we throw them high enough, we'll see how far they sink in the ground. Whoever sinks the furthest went the highest. Like, oh, that's good. First guy takes the brick, throws it up in the air, comes down, sinks like a foot into the mud.
Damn.
Like, second guy's like, I can beat that. Goes up, winds up, throws the brick up in the air, comes and lands. It goes 3 feet in the ground.
Wow.
And the last guy goes, I can beat that. Winds up, takes his brick, throws it straight up, and it doesn't come down. So the other joke that I like to tell when I was a kid, I thought that joke was fucking hilarious. The other joke I like to tell when I was a kid was this woman she wants to travel to see her mother, and she wants to bring her parrot with her because her mother loves a parrot. But the only ticket she can afford is on the no parrot, no smoking airlines. And you're not allowed to bring a parrot on, and you're not allowed to smoke on the plane. Parrot. But she thinks, I can get away with this. So she takes the parrot, gives it a bunch of food, puts it in her jacket, sneaks it on the plane. So she's on the plane, everything's going great. Like, they've taken off and they're like at cruising altitude. Then the pilot walks back, comes walking down the aisle, saying hello to everybody. And he's smoking this big cigar, which obviously he's not supposed to do. So he comes walking down the aisle, and he stops at the lady's seat, and he goes, how are you enjoying the flight? And she's like, fine, everything's great. He goes, well, we'll be there on time, so everything should be fine. She goes, thank you very much. And then he hears, and he's like, what was that? She goes, nothing. And he goes, you have a parrot in your coat. She goes, no, I don't. And he rips it open. And there's the parrot. He grabs the parrot. He's like pointing at her. He's like, you're not allowed to have a parrot on this plane. And she grabs the cigar out of his mouth. She goes, you're not allowed to have a cigar on this plane. And he goes, no parrots allowed. He opens the window and he throws out the parrot. She goes, well, you can't have a cigar. And she throws a cigar out the window of the plane. Slams it. He goes storming off. She sits in her seat. She's so mad because her parrot got thrown out of the plane. He's back up there. He's flying the plane. He's just like, and then he hears a little knock. And he turns around, and there's the parrot waving at him. And guess what it's got in its mouth?
A cigar?
No, the brick. Thank you, everybody.
I got a certificate at a summer camp that I worked at. It was most likely to injure themselves doing something that wouldn't necessarily end in injury or something. It was a really long run-on. So when I was going to be like a camp counselor for incoming freshmen in college, and I had gone to, I guess you'd call it a job interview. I was trying to become the station manager of TSTV. So I had to get dressed up in a suit and everything. I borrowed my friend's dress shoes, and I lost, and then immediately had to go to this like first day of counselor like training session thing where we all got paired up with our co-counselors, our co's. It was one of those places that was like, at the time, kind of fun, but in hindsight, it was like they were drinking the Kool-Aid. It was like, hey, Co, welcome to college. All right, we're going to have a great time. Ready to study? And it's like, whoa, there's a lot of emotions here. But it was first day. It was like, oh, right, we're going to pair you up with your co-counselor, and we're going to run through some team-building exercises. First, pair up. And it was some girl, and it was some exercise where we had to link arms and run across to go do something. I don't know. But I looked like an asshole wearing a full suit and in dress shoes. And there were shoes that weren't mine, and they were slipperier on the bottom than I thought. And it was like, Miles team, go! And I took one big step and immediately fell and brought us both down onto the ground. And I had my car keys in my pocket. It tore through the pants, left a huge bruise. I bled a little bit. She was injured. Like, it was just a terrible first impression. And then fast forward a few weeks, we did some other fucking training exercise, like, yeah, teamwork. And I fucking tripped over, knocked over 5 people, and twisted my ankle and had to wear a boot for the first few months I was interning here. So I have a piece of paper.
Gus and I, we used to always go bar/restaurant called Casino El Camino downtown. We get burgers there and we get fucked up. There was a period in time when I would go to get a burger with Gus or whoever, and I'd go up, and a burger's like $12, right? Yeah. And you go up and you order it, and then you go to pay for it, and you've got like 4 burgers, and the guy's like, just give me like $10. And I'm like, all right, here you go. And we would go regular, like every week, at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. So I was eating there maybe twice a week. And this went on for like 3 months. And he's like, give me $20 tonight. I'm like, here's $20,
So
okay.
he thought you were someone else.
And I assumed it was a Red vs. Blue thing, because this is around like season 4 of Red vs. Blue, when we were like getting in like the New York Times and like being on CNN and shit. And I thought, maybe the guy just likes video games. I don't know. And one night, it was like 6 burgers, and the guy's like, $15? And I was like, I can't do this anymore.
What kind of math?
And this is a place where like these are some scary people. Yeah. You know, burly, scary, like knife scars on the face kind of guys. Dude. I go, hey man, I just gotta ask, why do you keep continually giving me these insane discounts on the burgers? Is it just because I come here a lot? And he goes, you work at Emo's. Emo's was a like a music venue, like a punk club. He goes, nah, just because you work at Emo's, it's like the professional hookup. And I go, I don't work at Emo's. And he goes, but you used to. And I go, no, I've never. You might.
Why do you keep opening your mouth at that point?
Well, and he goes, you don't work at Emo's? And I go, no. And he goes, you better give me the biggest fucking tip you've ever given anybody in their entire lives. And I said, here's $60. And I stopped going for a while.
Gavin or Gaggle, Gaggle or Gavin. Which one barfed it? Let's find out.
I'm feeling.
So this is a smell test.
So we went through Blaine's desk and found an old protein shaker. How do you want to work this?
There's
is it who
still.
can smell the longest? Are we going to time it, or what is it? Let's just do it.
Do a little to save the smell. Open, close.
That's it.
Ready, set, go. That was a very respectable 2.35 seconds.
So Gavin, if you could beat 2.35 seconds, you are the official winner of Gavin or Gaggle.
Oh, somebody fire Blaine. Can we have quiet, please? He's a professional.
Ready?
He needs to concentrate.
Set, go. So Gavin did have a time of 3.68 seconds, but I think he has to take a penalty.
Gavin, hold this. Congratulations. Oh, no, never mind. Okay. All right, that's Gavin or Gaggle. We're never playing that again.
I used like one of those grocery ordering services for the
Yep.
first time, and it got delivered by this girl who was super cute. I was like, man, I would like to talk to her again, and so I kept ordering more groceries.
Oh, no.
But also, like, it was one of those things. It was like she was, coming. I was like, oh wow, that girl's cute. I'm like, oh, I guess I should put a shirt on and like get like. But then it was so anticlimactic because like I was like getting like I get dressed and.
Why didn't you add stuff to your order like a dozen roses, and when she arrived with them, you were like,
Oh,
"These are
well,
for
see
you."
that would have been good. Sooner than now. Clean myself up, and it was one of those things where I didn't want to be like, hey, like
Watto from episode 1.
So did you talk to her?
Do you want to simulate the conversation, Gavin?
Knock, knock, knock.
Hi.
Hey, this is your groceries.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, it is.
Sorry, what? You haven't said any English words yet. Did I miss something?
No,
is
that
it a bad
looks good.
replacement?
It's like I don't know. I think I said something. This is my first time using the service, and she's like, "Oh yeah." It's like,
No, you don't say what she said.
This is my first time using the service.
It's 2016, schmuck. Where have you been this whole time?
I don't know. It seems pretty cool. Is it,
It
pop?
is?
Is it? How do you like it?
Just guess the money in. I mean, I can go out tonight now. Not with you.
That's about how it went.
Smooth. Really smooth.
If you ever go to conventions, first-year conventions are just notoriously terrible. Gus and I one time went to a convention, and I remember it was the same week that Halo 3 released. And I know that because we went to a convention in Florida where it was the first-year event, and there was less exhibitors at this event than there were more exhibitors than attendees at the event. More exhibitors. Like, there was like 5 people walking around the floor, and we're just, Gus and I are sitting in a
They
booth.
had a lot of money.
I mean, it was really a lot of pressure on those attendees. Everyone was like, when they would come by. And so Gus and I busted out an Xbox 360 and we played Halo 3 the entire time. And they gave us shit about it. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
They're like, so you guys are just going to sit here on the floor and play Halo, like play a video game the entire time? It's like, there's nobody fucking here.
It was so dead. We actually left. We went to a store, we bought a TV and an Xbox and Halo, and then we brought it back.
So you both left together?
There's nobody there.
Did you sell anything there?
I think we sold like one shirt.
Yeah, I think the worst is, and I was talking about this earlier, is when there's like a sneeze guard and people point over the guard at what they want.
Dude, I went to Bert's the other day. She had one hand on the plexiglass and her entire arm was over. She was doing this.
I want this. Oh, is there no word for lettuce? Do we not have a fucking common language you can speak? You don't have to fucking point at
To be
it.
fair, they have a lot of kinds of lettuce at that restaurant. There's like 3 different kinds of things.
You know what they should do? Number them. I want some 2 and some 9.
Also,
and a squirt of 3.
And people shouldn't reach over that fucking thing.
Also, you know,
it should
people
go to the
shouldn't do?
ceiling. It happens at Mod Pizza. It happens at Chipotle. It happens at fucking Subway.
I
I'm
tell
sick
my
of it.
my kids this at a very early age. If you're out anywhere, don't touch the fucking glass. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's glass and you're not drinking out of it, don't fucking touch it. Don't fucking put your hands on the glass to open the door. Don't, when you're like at the donut shop, put your fucking greasy finger on the glass going, I want that one with the chocolate. Just don't do that.
Have I told the story about me maybe being the best dad of all time or not?
I mean, I'm sure you're wrong, but
Millie and I are on the outs right now a little bit. The other day, I don't remember what the circumstances were, but she was annoyed with me, and I'm like, I'm like the best dad in the world, right? She put her arm on me, and she goes, you're not the best dad in the world, right? And I said, excuse me? Like, how do you know? And she's like, I'm pretty sure I know. She's like, you're a good dad, but you're not the best dad in the world. I said, what about your mom? Is she the best mom in the world? She goes, I don't know if she's the best mom in the world or not. I just know that you're not the best dad.
So she's
in the
met.
world.
Wow.
I mean,
Damn.
she's like looking
Wow.
at, and I was like, who's the best dad in the world? She's like, I don't know who he is, but I
will
know
say,
it's not you.
Having
Oh
lived
my
with you for a long
God.
time, you're a damn good dad. Aside
thanks.
from being you
Right.
somehow managed to be a dad as well. But I mean, that's some lip. I wonder where she's getting that from.
Well, she's getting it from Jeff.
Yeah.
That's where she's getting it from. It's okay, Jeff. So is that why you're on the outs? Is the whole story?
Well, there
You're
was
in the
that, and then there
outs,
was
or-
another incident.
Is this one?
Day before yesterday, I came in from work, and I bought tickets to see Keanu. Because
Right.
Millie really wants to see it. So I surprised her and Griffin with tickets to see Keanu, and we went and we saw the movie, and it was a great time and all that. And on the way home, Millie was like, wanted to tell us something that was like told to her in confidence from a friend or something. I don't remember what it was. I was like, you can, I mean, if you want to talk about it, you can. Your mom and I aren't going to tell anybody. You can trust us. And she goes, well, I can trust mom. And I go, excuse me? She goes, I know I can trust mom. You, I'm on the fence about.
Damn.
Wow. And I was like, I just took you to a fucking movie on a Wednesday night. She goes, I mean, what do you want me to say? I'm on the fence.
I like that in every story, the way you describe her, she sounds like a snarky 18-year-old, but she's like, what?
She's 10.
10?
She's 10.
10 years
I was like, every time Jeff sounds like,
Yeah,
I was
that's
every story.
Jeff
I
is
was
like this innocent, like, when people get stuff stolen from them, it's really funny to everyone else.
Well, Lawrence's was funny because first they stole the seat, and then they were like, huh, the bike's still there.
Yeah. So I went out and the seat was gone. I was like, well, shit. I guess I could try to. No, I'm not gonna try. So I was like, I guess I just gotta get another seat. And I was like, I'll just leave it outside. What could go wrong? They already took the seat. So I ordered one on Amazon, and was like, I'll just wait for the seat to get here. So I did, and the seat got here. I was like, cool. Time to put it on my. And apparently they came back and got everything except the wheel that was locked to the rack.
Right.
So now I have a wheel and a seat.
You got a unicycle.
Yeah.
I really want to eat that.
I
want
kinda
to
do
taste how
too.
good
I
it is.
think
Go
we
get
could
it.
still eat the back of it.
Back of it, yeah.
Listen, we're well beyond the 5-second rule at this point.
Who cares? But that part's still in the tinfoil.
What is
I
on
think
that
if
floor?
you don't use your hands, it's fine.
What is on that floor? Do you think that's bad for you?
I don't care. I'll eat all of
I
that.
stand with you. It's such. It's
I think
good.
the floor is like the dirt. That's why I don't like shoes. I just think about like how dirty the ground is and how everything's covered in shit, and you're just stepping in
I
it constantly.
literally don't care though.
What do you mean? It's urine in that.
I literally don't care either. It doesn't bug
You
me.
know how much stuff goes in your body without you even realizing?
Yeah, but if you can reduce that quantity, would you not want to reduce that quantity?
But clearly, I've been okay. I'm almost 27 years of
Well,
life.
you look like shit right now.
No, what do you? God dare you? Don't look at me. She's the one who looks terrible.
I feel like my parents don't go farting around, you know?
I feel like that's a choice by your parents, though. I feel like they do fart. I
like
don't
it's a
think it's
choice
a thing
for-
that stopped happening for them. I mean, I realize, I guess, compared to Jeff, your parents don't run over to your stuff and fart on them and say, Gavin, we farted on your bed.
I wish I had more impressive farts. Like, I don't know if there's like a problem
Yours
with my
are
anus,
pathetic.
but mine
It's
is
like,
like,
they so
if I
great.
force it out, it's like,
It
like,
really is. Gavin gets farted on so much, and then you see the fire in his eyes where he's like, I'm going to give it to you.
Yeah.
And he'll go, and that's it. It
And
just
Jeff will be
sounds
like, good job,
It's
buddy.
like Simba. It's the same thing with his burps. All of his burps, he's like, oh, I got a big one. Ah! It's so weird.
I can't think of a place I want to talk to human beings less than at the gym.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I fucking had that yesterday, and right when I moved into my house, they have like some amenities, like they have a pool and they have a little gym center that you use and stuff. Before I signed up for like a 24-hour gym, I went to that gym and I met a guy there. He's like super nice guy, but one of like the like older people, the guy's probably like in his late 50s, early 60s, and just loves to fucking talk. Like about it's like, I'm just at the fucking gym, dude. And he's like going on and on and on. He was doing like some kind of like Tai Chi or something like that. It was like, oh, that's cool, yeah. And he just like would not stop telling me about it, and like telling me how to do it. Like leading into the thing where I'm like, okay, I'm trying to go over to the machine. He's like, hit me in the stomach. Do it, just hit me. And I was like, no, I'm good. I don't want to punch someone I just met. And he's like, do it. And I was like, all right, cool, yeah. Like, he was a really nice guy, but I was just like, I was in there to work out and then leave. That was a couple months ago. I fucking saw that guy at the gym yesterday, and I was like, oh my God, no. He was doing it to someone else, except this guy was all about it. I'm 90%
Just like punching him over and over again.
I'm 90% certain the conversation ended with that guy was asking him if he could hire him to give him lessons for like,
You know
for,
what
like,
the
Taekwondo
you know
and
what
whatnot.
the grim reality of that situation is, right?
What is that?
That guy's wife probably died of cancer like last year, and that's the only human interaction he gets is at the gym in the grocery store.
It could be, but
I
it's
bet
not
he's trying
my
to start-
sad reality. It's
he
his.
might also be trying to start a fight club.
That's also possible.
Yeah.
Do you do things like that where it's like, I'm going to do this, and I'll know later that this will mean X, Y. Like I have to take Adderall in the morning for ADHD, and one of the problems that I always have is I can't remember if I took my medication or not. So I was like, I'm going to develop a system. I'll take out the bottle. I'll take my medication and I'll close the bottle and I will place it upside down, and that's how I will know that I've taken my medication. I
And it's
did
upside
that
down the next day, right?
I did that. I left it there, and I came out the next day, and I'm sitting there and going, all right. And I seriously had to sit there and be like, all right, what did I do just now? I got up, I took a shower, and then I came in here and I either got my phone or took my medication.
You need one of those
Guess
things.
I'll know in about an hour.
You need one of those things that they have with like the days on them.
the pill boxes.
I had one, I lost it.
I saw that
You lost it. I lost it.
I never put myself in a situation where I require someone else's assistance to get out of it. I probably learned that when I was a kid because I had an older brother. Like my brother would say, "Hey, look at the size of this laundry basket. You think you fit under here?" And then I curl up in a ball. He'd put the laundry basket over me, and then he'd fucking sit on it and watch Bugs Bunny for half an hour.
If you are having a stroke, what is the procedure?
What do you mean? What's the procedure? You take someone to the hospital.
Just straight there? We don't have to like put you in any sort of position or
the recovery position. No, I think you could just go straight to the hospital.
You have to go in the
You do
fetal
not let the
position.
stroke victim drive, though.
I was on a set recently, and a guy slipped on paint, knocked himself out on the ground, bounced, and landed in the recovery position. Like, everyone was like, oh, he's fine.
So he's ready to go.
And did you just leave him there?
seems bad.
Is he still there
Was it red
right
paint?
now?
I've only had like 2 or 3 stitches, but it was like a centimeter from my eyeball.
Oh,
I got
really?
hit in the head with a piece of
Oh,
PVC.
no.
How'd you get hit with PVC?
My brother threw it at me and hit me in the
Nice.
face.
Yep. Sounds good. Sounds right.
A.B. Hospital. Stitches. My father was always like, he was like ultimate handyman. He fixed everything in the house, did everything himself. So it was common that was like shit laying around, like tools and parts and stuff like that. And I think he had old PVC pipes and the end was snapped. So it was like jagged and broken at the end. It was my oldest brother David and his friend David, funny enough. They were in our backyard. So he comes and gets me and he goes, we're playing Olympics or some shit like that. Yeah. And in their head, it was a javelin. And they're like, all right, we're going to throw the javelin in the yard. You be like the judge and stand there and see where it lands.
Umpire.
Okay. Thing comes, like, oh, here it comes. Here it comes. Hits me right in the fucking face. Literally right here in the face. It's like a 10-foot long pole.
On the upside, they had a very precise measurement of the
Yeah,
landing.
it's right there.
There's
I
the blood
remember like getting up, like being dazed, and then just blood washing over my eyeballs.
Was it
I couldn't
was
see.
it like the beginning of a Bond movie?
It was, where it's like da 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 da, and I just couldn't see. He's a
These
freak.
stitches here must be the most bizarre way. It involves a baseball bat and a Beanie Baby. Was in my basement and was just fucking around and I had like a plastic baseball bat, so I guess like a wiffle ball bat. Took a Beanie Baby and I was like, fuck it, let's just do this because I'm fucking around with a baseball bat. Put it on the floor and like a golf club wound up the bat and smacked it. It went straight up and hit the light on my ceiling. So it started to shake and obviously as a kid I'm like, oh fuck, like did I break it? And as I'm looking at it, it falls past me, hits the ground and shatters and the glass goes up into my head. So
Jesus.
As a kid I'm like, like I broke the light. And so like I just turn around and run up. My plan is to get into my room and pretend like I don't know. And so on my way up the stairs, my mom sees me and she's like, Jerry, is your nose bleeding? And I see blood on my arm. So I literally go, probably, like that. And she's like, what? Why is your nose bleeding? What happened? I went, maybe it's all that broken glass downstairs. I was like, I don't know,
Nice
it might
cover.
be. And then
Excellent.
The other day,
Is that why?
Yeah.
I was in an Uber. in LA, right? And the driver farted. Really awful one. Like, he must have been like, man, I really gassed this whole car.
He was probably
And the guy has
embarrassed.
definitely smelled it. Didn't crack the window and anything. Like, I know that's admitting to the fart, but it's like, I know he farted because I didn't.
Why didn't you open the window?
Because then that's insulting to him.
Did you not want to embarrass him?
I didn't want to embarrass him, but I also didn't want to...
So instead you tweeted about it.
But I think the correct thing to do there, he should have just done the windows down for a bit, done them up. I would have said nothing of it.
Do you still give him 5 stars?
I did.
So I had to go to Houston to do my global entry, right? It was an interesting experience. So I walk into this office in Houston, right? And the office is about the size of this podcast set. It's tiny. Since it's a government office, there's signs everywhere, like no cell phones, and all of them are upside down for some reason, which was really weird to me. And it's like one dude, and I go up to do my thing, and I'm talking with him, and I guess he can see all of my information because they do like a background check on you, and he's like, filmmaker, huh? was like, yeah. He goes, what kind of films you make? Well, I was like, it's complicated. You know, we do stuff on the internet.
You make it sound like porn.
Yeah.
It's
immediately.
Not porn, it's comedy. He's like, I love movies. Like, I love watching movies. I was like, oh, really? He goes, yeah. He's like, I'm a huge fan of Wes Anderson movies. He's like, oh, what's that Wes Anderson movie that was filmed in Houston? I was like, oh, Rushmore. I said, I love Rushmore. It's one of my favorite movies. He goes, yeah, I love that.
Is he quizzing you?
I don't know. So then he's like, I really like good films. You know, I hate those trashy films. Like, a friend of mine invited me over to his place. He had a screening for that movie, Sharkdanko. I was like...
Sharkdanko?
Yeah, I was like, what? He's like, the sharks, and they're like flying in the air. I was
flying
like,
the Dankos?
I was like, okay. Then he asked me, like, what's your favorite film? I was like, I like Ghost World a lot. I think Ghost World's a really good movie. He was like, I don't think I've seen that one. I was like, it's got Thora Birch and Scarlett Johansson. He goes, oh, yeah. It's also got Steve Buscemi in it, right?
Wow, this guy's... He's fucking with you at this point.
I was like, okay, like, is this a test? Like what you said?
Yeah, he's fucking with you, it feels like. Because he heard you were a filmmaker, so he's testing you by throwing out stuff
That
he
can't
knows
be a
is
real
wrong.
thing they do.
Maybe. You don't know, Barbara.
I don't know. I didn't question it. Got through the interview real fast, and everything was fine. But in my head, I'm like, was I being tested? And did I fail some kind of test?
You should have been like, hey, what's that like natural disaster called when the wind's going in a circle?
No, was it?
A Tordanko.
Steve Buscemi dies in a Tordanko.
But she starts messing up like government agencies. Like, yeah, I did pay taxes to the IRS. See if he calls you on it.
Like if
We'll
you
do it
put
at your house this time.
If you put a gun on a Roomba and just set it going downtown somewhere,
Yeah.
and you could just manually fire it, you're firing the gun, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This sounds like the worst game of Russian roulette ever.
I mean, it
Pick
doesn't sound like
finds
Russian
guns,
roulette
just
at
spinning
all.
around.
You're at home. Fucking shooting a Roomba.
How would they trace that to you?
Well, you said
I
take it
did the
downtown.
gun. It was
Right.
registered to you.
Yeah.
Someone would walk up to it after all the bullets are gone, pick it up, and say, "Hey, we should check who bought this."
Let me
There
tell
was
you.
like a 6-week sabbatical.
Let me regale. Let me wax poetic.
I don't
A
know what
little
that
story
means, but
about
go for it.
about starting Rooster Teeth. So April 1st, 2003. Started Rooster Teeth.
Right.
That was it.
Damn.
Yeah.
How many everyday objects have you injured him severely?
Quite a few.
There's ping pong ball, now rubber
Dude,
band.
we were in line for a party at VidCon, and I shoved a Sharpie so far up his asshole, I had to take it out.
Yeah.
Because usually he was
Yeah.
on the ground in front of 200 people, and
Usually-
this girl leans over to me and goes, "Are you gay?" I said, "I don't know, maybe." And she goes, "All right." This is weird.
I had an annoying bastard sat next to me on my flight yesterday.
What happened? Why was he an annoying bastard?
Was he English or American?
I think he was German.
You have bad luck with Germans.
But on the plane, it's like 3, 3, and 3, and I was on the aisle middle, and no one sat in the middle seat. So there was me, no one, and this guy.
Okay.
And I was like listening to my headphones. They're like noise cancelling, so I can't hear anything. I don't know if he was yelling at me, but eventually he like starts thumping on my arm. I was like, oh god, what? He was like, is anyone sat here? And I was like, I don't know. And he was like, hopefully not. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Went back to it. Then 10 minutes later, we'd already taken off at this point. He's like thumping on my arm again. I was like, oh my god, this guy. What's up? And he's like, low battery on your headphones. His beat is flashing. And I was like, thanks. I'll know when the headphones turn off. Thanks. Oh my god. And then he loudly starts like blowing his nose into some tissues. I was like,
you can hear it through the noise.
Yeah, I was like,
canceling headphones.
Then a flight attendant comes by, starts clearing away drink cups. I pick up my cup to give to the flight attendant. He leans over me, stuffs his gammy tissue into my cup.
Oh,
like,
why?
I was like,
while it's in your hand?
Yeah, I was like, gross. Do it on your side
Did
with
he
your
say
flight
that-
attendant.
Remember
I
when
don't
we
get it
saw
very often.
Chris strike out with those girls at that bar?
Did he whiff one?
Oh, that was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Michael and I watched it for half an hour.
Wait, did he take a swing at 2 girls at one time?
It was like they were in a
of
group.
girls.
Well, it was like we had a conversation with Chris.
I didn't know. I said, what do you do at the company? And he goes, and I go, no, seriously, what do you?
Just like, what do you do?
What do you actually
What
do?
do you
I don't
do?
know. And he's
Tell
like,
me.
and he couldn't tell me. He's like, and he
It's
ran
like,
off.
and then
To his work.
he walked over, but it was like one of those things where Jeff and I both noticed Chris like doing something. We're like, oh, look at that. And then we watched it unfold as we were looking at him across the bar, and we were like, oh no, oh no, oh. It's like they're talking to him, and he's talking to them, and they're just like this.
There was a lot of this. There's a lot of Chris going like this.
Physical.
Here, I'm gonna be Chris for a second. I'm gonna be like. For like an hour.
Beautiful. Like, I'm not talking Chris or anything, but those girls were pretty far out of his league.
And that they were girls and they were breathing.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
Well, let's talk about awesome things we did.
Okay.
All right. In our Have You Ever segment, have you ever been kicked out of a bar, club, etc.?
Never been kicked out of a place. I was refused entry, though, as a minor. Now, I was a good boy. I did not partake of the drink when I was in high school. I was like, nay, I shall not be tempted, Satan. I'm not gonna do that. But when I got to college, though, you know, parties happen.
Stuff
right?
happens. Yeah.
But I refused to get a fake ID. I was like, I don't wanna. Also,
I'm a good boy.
I'm a good boy.
They're also expensive.
Also, I was just scared of being like thrown in jail or some shit. I was like, it'll go on my permanent life record. Yeah. But the universe had different plans for me because one night walking home, we found a wallet in the middle of the street. Somebody had already taken all the cards, all the money out of it, but there was an ID. This motherfucker looked just like Miles Luna. So all my friends were like, this is a legal Texas ID.
The gods have blessed
your
you.
name is Andrew now. And I was like, oh. And they're like, oh, this is perfect. What's her face's birthday's coming up this weekend. She was gonna go to Dirty Six. Yeah, bro, we're gonna raids. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm already nervous. I don't wanna be downtown. I don't wanna use this fake ID. We went to some bar and I had the fake ID and I gave it to the gentleman at the door. And he looked at it and he looked at me. And he looked at it, and he looked at me, and he went, this isn't you. And I went, nope, and I grabbed it and ran. I just ran into the night. I just ran into the night. And like half an hour later, like caught up with my friends. I was like, I can't go, man, they know. He probably told the other bars. They have a thing, they're all connected, man. The man, they know. But yeah, that was a good night. Just kidding, it sucked.
Speaking of horrifying, I went downtown this weekend.
Downtown's already horrifying.
We're out in this place. It was one of those places where the bar itself was quite small, but the outdoor bit was massive. Loads of people, and one of those porta potties in the back. So I spotted it, and I was like, yeah, I'll go and take a nice leak. The door didn't lock, but there was a line for the bog, so everyone sort of knew that it didn't lock. Yeah, so I was in line. There were like 3 or 4 people ahead of me. Slowly got to the front, went in, whipped out my John Thomas, started going. I was like, I'm not worried about the door. People just watch me walk in. I've been peeing for about 2 seconds. Someone just barges in, flings the door open, stands next to me. I'm like,
how do you stand next to someone in a porta potty?
Very uncomfortably close. So I'm there sort of like, what are you doing, dude? I'm peeing here. And he was like, I gotta do this in here. There's too many people around. I just gotta do this in here. Whips out this little thing of cocaine, does a line of coke.
Off your dick?
Nope.
No.
But within drip distance of little coke nugs could have landed on my penis. And I'm like, oh my God. I don't even know where to start. Like, just livid at this guy. It's like, I wrap up my piss. I went out, and then he followed me out, started talking to me, realized I was British, and was like, oh, British, huh? That means you're not circumcised. It comes up in the story, he's a gay man, and he was like, you know, I've never sucked off an uncircumcised penis. You want to head back in there, and I'll blow you? And I was like, this has gone from 0 to 100 so fast.
That's what coke does, man.
And
let me ask you this question. If you say yes, so I don't want to take away from your story. Let's assume Gavin says yes to this, and he wants to get blown by the guy in the porta potty. Do they have to wait in the line again, or can they go to the front and say, "You guys just saw us. We were just in there."
And now we both need to go back in. I left my phone in there. And in my head, I'm like so blown away by the whole experience.
Literally.
Yep. And I don't want to be rude to the guy.
Why would you want to be rude?
So the way I phrased it was so weird. I was like, you know, I'm not into that at this point in my life, but, you know, maybe one day I'd be into that, like trying to make excuses.
Did you really?
As to why I didn't want him.
You were so British. That one moment, you're so British.
You don't want to be
just been
offensive,
like, no,
right?
I'm not gay.
Right.
But instead, I was like, I'm not quite ready. But, you know, if you see me around in like 10 years, ask me again.
Did you really tell him that? You took a rain check on a porta potty blowjob.
In 10 years' time, let's meet back at this porta potty.
Look, I don't know how I'm going to be feeling.
If you still haven't blown anyone, and I still haven't gotten blown, we'll make a pact that in 10 years, we can blow each other.
Well, there was this one time, though, where my friend had a crush on this girl. And he was like, we should ding-dong ditch her. And I was like, fuck yeah. So we were like, late high school. So we drive out to her neighborhood. We spot out her house. We park his car like 3 blocks down. We're like planning it all out and stuff like that. We ding-dong ditch. We run away. And we sit in some bushes
Like
across the
that?
street. And we're like, and her dad comes out. We're like, oh, shit. You know, like doing that whole thing.
Sure.
Wait, you know, like 5 minutes. The window curtain like goes away. And it's like, all right, he's no longer watching. So we run across and we do it again. Ding dong. We're like, ah! And so like we run, instead of going back to that spot, we just ran back to his car. So we're sitting in his car and we're like, oh man, that was great. Oh shit. Tuck, 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 tuck. Someone was knocking on his window with a bat. We look over, and it was the fucking dad. And he was
What?
like, my wife is a nurse. She has to get up at 5 a.m. every morning, and you fucking kids are ringing my goddamn doorbell. And we're just like, eyes are saucers.
Wow.
It was
He's
the
right, though.
scariest fucking thing. I ended up like really being good friends with that girl, and I helped them move out of their house because I felt so bad about it.
On the way back, I flew from Monterey to Houston to Austin. And you guys know there was, I guess, a lot of bad weather over the weekend here in Austin, lots of rain.
Yeah.
So when I was flying from Houston to Austin, normally it's like a 45-minute flight, probably even less, but it took like an hour and a half because I had to fly around all the weather. And I could tell, like, we're getting ready to start our descent. I was like, okay, I need to run. I'm going to take a piss. And then, like, right before I get up to go to the bathroom, this woman gets up and goes to the bathroom. I'm like, all right, I'll wait till she's done. And she must have been taking a dump or something because I'm sitting there forever. And then finally she gets out, like, okay, I'm gonna run back there and take a piss. So I run back. The seatbelt sign is on at this point. You know, we're beginning our descent. I unzip my pants. The second piss starts coming out of my dick, turbulence. And it's like a fire hose that you can't control. So I'm like trying to aim piss into the toilet while the plane's doing this. So I drenched that bathroom. And I was trying to get out, but the turbulence was so bad I couldn't open the door.
Jesus!
Because it was like I would try to push it, but then I would get like thrown back, so I couldn't.
So were
move
you like
forward.
coming bouncing off the ground and stuff?
Yes, it was
Did it
very
hurt?
rough. It was very rough. Eventually, I managed to shove my way out of the door, and I come out into the galley, and the flight attendant is literally sitting on the ground.
Wow.
She's like sitting on the ground, bracing herself with the cart. She looks at me and she goes, "You better sit on the ground too." So I had to sit on the ground with the flight attendant in the galley to wait for the turbulence to subside a bit. She was like, "Okay, run to your seat."
Take a shit.
So I have a question. When you guys use a urinal, do you keep a hand on your dick or do you just like let it flop around?
What is that? I have to hold it.
When I was at the hotel in Australia, when I first landed, I went up to use the urinal, and I was standing there pissing, holding my dick like a civilized man. And this person walks up to the urinal next to me, whips his dick out, starts peeing, and as he's pissing, reaches into his pocket, pulls out his phone, and starts texting with his dick just like flopping around, pissing. I'm like, what the fuck is this animal? And then like his friend walks in, and then he's like talking over his shoulder at his friend, like texting still at the same time. I'm like, what is this?
There's been times he's like, "Why are you texting me, bro? I'm right next to you."
Halloween costumes are fun though. Like,
That being said, you don't want to go like too over the top with like makeup or whatever, because I did go one year. It was the first year that I had like 6-pack abs, and I was like, I'm gonna paint myself green. I'm gonna be the Incredible Hulk.
Oh, I saw that
It's the
picture of
fucking
you on Facebook.
worst Halloween of my life, because like for once in my goddamn life, I was attractive, and all the girls were like, "Oh, Blaine, he's a person now."
Jesus Christ!
I couldn't fucking dance with anybody. I basically stood in a corner. People would come up for a hug, and I was like, "No, I'm gonna paint you green."
All the girls were like, "He's angry. You wouldn't like him when he's angry."
But it sucked because like I couldn't interact with humans because I was just fucking green.
Nobody could love me.
But the girl's house she hosted it at, she was like, "I've been finding so much fucking green paint in my house." And I was like, "I'm so sorry."
In high school, I might have told this story before. I don't know. Me and this girl, we were like driving around. We're like, "Hey, let's go to the park and like hang out." So we're like in my car, parked, and then we're like making out. At some point, the light comes up, and there's like a flashlight in the window, and this cop comes up, and it's like, and we're like, "Oh, we're just talking, officer." And he's like, yeah, okay, just so you know, the park closes at 10. You guys need to leave. And we're like, "Oh, yeah, yes, sir, yeah, we're just talking. It's like, "Yeah, sure. Don't make me call your parents." And we're like, yeah, so we drive. And I'm like, "Don't worry. I know, but no, let's go somewhere else." So we drive somewhere else.
Don't worry. I know another children's playground.
So we go to another park, and we're like, continuing, and the windows start to get a little steamy. Flashlight comes. Flashlight comes. Rolled on the window. It's the same cop.
Did he just follow
It's
you
the
guys?
same cop, and he goes, "All the parks are closed. You need to leave."
He probably patrols all the parks.
I'm sure he does.
He went back to his car and looked at his partner. He's like, "I'm gonna cock block the shit out of this kid."
Aaron and I have this old guy
That's it.
in our apartment, and he has like a back problem, so he's always like hunched over.
He's at like a 90-degree angle.
Yeah. And we're pretty sure, Aaron and I are sure that he's like a ghost haunting our apartment complex, because he fucking pops out of nowhere and he's like, "Do you have the time?" And you're like, "Ah!"
So this old guy loves swimming in the pool.
Wouldn't he drown if he was leant over forward? You just hit
Walks
someone
back and
bobbling
forth.
like,
Walks the time. So like when you go to Aaron's apartment, you could see people coming out of the pool when you're going in the front door. And so I saw him coming out of the pool, so I kind of like waited to open the door for a bit because I wanted him to pass by. I didn't want to have to talk to him. And so I saw him pass by and I thought he left. And so I opened the door and I went into the elevator and he's like, hold the door. And I'm like, fuck. And he gets in. He's wearing a bathing suit, but it's hiked up into his ball sack. So I could basically see his entire like upper thigh and like maybe a hint of a penis popping out there.
Scrote.
And he's just like dripping all over the elevator floor. And it's like, it's not a very long elevator ride. So I like press the button, he presses his button, and he goes, well, going up. And then about
he sounds like such a sweet
and then
old
about
dude.
5 seconds later he goes, almost there.
Dude, so, okay, you and I were both at PAX West, and I had a weird thing happen to me. So I can't tell if a guy was trying to mug me or not.
What?
So one morning I decided to go to the Pike's Place Market.
Yeah.
And I was walking back, and I went down like a shady street, and this dude like is crossing the street, making a beeline for me in a hoodie, and looks super disheveled. And I'm like, all right, he's probably gonna ask me for money or whatever. And he stops. I was like, hey, excuse me, sir, do you have a second? I was like, hey. And he's like, I'm so sorry to bother you. I'm so sorry to bother you. This is real embarrassing, man. I'm not really from the area, you know, but I got mugged last night. And then like he pauses, and I was like, I'm so sorry. He says, yeah, it's real terrible. I need money to catch the bus, but all I gotta sell is this knife. Think you can help me? And I went, no, sorry, I only have a credit card. And I just kept walking.
Holy shit.
And then as I was walking away, I remember thinking, golly gee, that guy put some weird emphasis on some words and then pulled a knife on me. Was he trying to mug me? No, right? But I remember thinking, like, if he was trying to mug me, that's how you get, like, friend zoned, man. You just need to make make what you want very clear from the beginning.
Yeah.
Be more forward with it.
more alpha.
Yeah.
Well, that was his thing. It's like, I wasn't trying to mug him.
That's what
I was trying to sell him my knife.
That's my thinking, is that, like, had I, like pointed this guy out to the cops, he would have been like, I never once did that. I never once was mugging him. I was asking him if he wanted to buy my knife.
So he's smart.
But it was easy, though, because I walked away with a skip in my step. Someone went, what's the weirdest sex thing you've ever done? And we all took a moment to think. And that's when I realized, so I dated this girl in college, and we'd been dating for a little over a year. She wanted to role play, and I was like, all right. So what'd you have in mind? Like a schoolgirl thing? Like, what are you thinking? And she was like, well, it's just kind of this fantasy I've had for a while. I'm like, please tell me. She's like, well, I mean, do you mind being a character? I'm like, fuck it. I'll be whoever the fuck you want me to be. Who do you want me to be? And she said, Heath Ledger's Joker.
Oh, God. Wait, was she serious?
Yup. I'll tell you how it started. I walked into the room and went, well, hello, beautiful.
Oh, God, it's so cringe.
Inside, I died. It was a difficult evening of passionate, murderous, psychotic lovemaking.
So he has a circumcision, so he's like, you want to know how I got these scars?
It was awful.
Did she have to role play also, or is it just you?
She was. I made. She was like, I'll just be me, and I was like, no, fuck you. You're gonna be Harley Quinn, all right? Give me something.
There's no Harley Quinn in that Batman.
I know. I'm aware of the canon.
So did you arrive?
No, God, no.
You didn't.
She was like, that was great. How was it for you? And I was like,
not bad.
Love you.
Unique.
I'm just not a planner. Fuck. Never broke character. So, yay me.
I remember once, years ago, when we were still working at the call center, and I was in the break room, and I found like a CD case, like one of those like black cases that like you have like 30 CDs in it.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was just sitting there on the break room table, and it was open, and I kind of glanced over it, and the CD was just labeled Bernie's porn disc.
It wasn't labeled Bernie's porn disc. I guarantee it.
I zipped it up, and I took it to you, and I was like, hey, I just found this in the break room. It says like Bernie's porn disc. You're like, oh yeah, cool, thanks. And he just like took it, and you like just tossed it in your office, like nothing, like so nonchalant. And I was like, okay, like he totally owned it.
I'm an adult. Adults not allowed to have porn. It used to wait. It was actually porn. Well, yeah.
Why did you label it?
Ashley has now developed this new thing she does where she likes to touch her boobs with other ladies' boobs, and she's trying to do it with everyone at the company. That's like a goal that she has.
I thought that was just with me.
So you're just going around like smearing your rack on as many people as you can?
Hey, Gavin, you want to make her jealous?
The 14-year-old version of me would be freaking out if he saw into the future.
For the
to that
record, I would
moment.
not have done that with the 14-year-old version of him.
Bullshit.
I just want to put that out there.
And that 14-year-old's parents would have been, we knew it. We knew.
So, last
yeah.
call, right? I
Yeah.
did the banana and Sprite challenge, which is a thing we discovered, where you're supposed to eat 2 bananas immediately followed by a can or 2 of Sprite.
You were lying on the cushion in the Achievement Hunter for like an hour and a half.
Wait, so what does it do to you? It's just like all the fizz and carbonation of like, it's just like in your stomach. So it's just like, it's supposed to produce tons and tons of like gas. I
Oh, it's
guess,
supposed to just make
and to
you
make you vomit. Never threw up. I had a tummy ache forever, for hours. The end of the day, I'm leaving. This has got to be 3 to 4 hours after I did it. We're walking out, and I say to Lindsay, I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. So I go to the bathroom, I sit down. Gavin, I sat on the toilet for maybe 25 minutes just farting. Literally nothing but gas coming out of me. It was all the Sprite. Like, all of it came out my back end, not through my mouth.
Wow.
But, like, it was incredible. I'm talking, like, I'm sitting there and it's like fart, and then like, and I was like, damn, like 8 seconds at a time. I left the bathroom, I felt like $1,000,000. I mentioned to my mother, who's in town right now, I said like 500 times. I'm like, oh, I made this peach moonshine, it's so good, we had it last year. Lindsay said it so many times, like peach moonshine, it's moonshine, it's peach moonshine, it's so good. And she drinks a little bit. She doesn't really drink liquor, but I feel like this might be okay because it's so good, you know what I mean? So she's like, all right, fine, I'll try it. She sips it immediately and she's like, oh, I don't like it. And then 10 seconds go by and she's like, you fuck, there's liquor in here. I'm like, I fucking said it was moonshine. I said it like 100 times. And she's like, I thought it was peach tea. I thought it was tea. For an hour, my mother's like, oh, I have to sit down. Oh, my legs are wobbly. Like, sort of yelling at me, like, you got me drunk.
She said that we tricked her.
She was like, you tricked me. This, to be fair, as she's like, you tricked me, she's like, you fuck. If you imagine me as a 60-year-old woman, that's my mother.
I like that your
know what
mom
I mean?
becomes Willem Dafoe from Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. Dude, my brother's right there. He's visiting. My brother David, he can stay over there. For the last 15 years at least, our Denise voice is like, what are you doing? Stop. You fuck. You fucking got me drunk. What are you doing? It's just a classic. People like my internet voice or they hate it. That's my Denise voice.
How much did Lindsay freak out about the kittens?
Oh, dude, she was mad. I find out, I'm gonna get covered in kittens, and they were like 5 weeks old. They're
those are
super
adorable
tiny
little-
Siamese.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
they're Siamese cats.
Yeah, those look
and
Siamese.
their
Thank
eyes
you,
were
man.
like
Good job.
Their eyes were like
I'm an
crystal
expert.
blue. You know,
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. Like,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
just
The
so
kitten
blue.
blue, yeah.
I mean, they were so new to life. They weren't even like scrambling or anything. They were just like sitting there. They just kept trying to
They're
climb
like, "This
into my
is what
jacket.
living is."
Yeah,
They just
basically.
know to be scared.
They just kept climbing into my jacket
Stay
for
warm,
warmth.
yeah.
And they had to keep pulling them out of my jacket. But I'm going over to film that, and I turned to Adam Kovic. I was like, "Hey, can you film this? Lindsay's gonna be pissed." And he's like, "What do you mean? She's gonna be mad if you don't take pictures?" I go, "No, she's gonna be mad because of the picture. She's going to be angry
covered in kittens.
for 2 reasons. One, she's not here and it's not her, and 2, she knows I don't care. You know, like it was cool, but I'm like, oh, cool, cats.
Yeah.
So the first thing, I get done with it, and he gives me my phone, and Adam took, I think, 87 photos. Her first response was like, "What? Damn it! You don't even care. You don't care."
Can you pass Mexican? Yeah. I mean, with other people who are of Mexican descent, can you?
Yeah, and they always talk to me in Spanish, and I'm just like, I just don't know. And it's tough because, like, my father-in-law, like, he doesn't speak English, I don't speak Spanish, so our relationship is harder, especially since, I don't know if I've talked much with you about him. He's very much like a man's man, and I'm not. We were at the beach. He wanted to I don't know, just kind of do something fun, just the two of us. So he was like, come here. And we got like life jackets, and then we got a kayak, and we're gonna go out in the ocean. And I'm not crazy about the ocean. Don't like things touching my feet. Don't like tide taking me. And I was like on a kayak, something that's I wasn't crazy about it, but I was like, you know what? We're just gonna kind of like chill a little bit. Yeah. But we kept paddling, and we passed like the buoy, and I was like, he likes me. But
hang on,
the exact cliche when the father-in-law takes you out and could kill you.
Yeah.
And like threaten you, and I wouldn't be able to do anything. I'm not going to swim back. I'm not going to fight waves.
Or he
But
might
you're
just
a
be
boat.
testing you, and if you can make it back to shore, then you're worthy. You know.
I don't know if I was worthy, but it's a small kayak. He could easily just like push me out.
I had a girl,
and then I
whose
almost
dad-
drowned him.
You drowned him?
I almost drowned him.
What'd you do?
Well, this was later. He was on an alligator.
Wait, hang on.
He was on a floating toy alligator.
There we go. Okay.
And it was like the whole family, and I was with Paul, and I was like, oh, maybe it'd be kind of fun if like we'd like, wrestle or like flip it and take the alligator and it'll be fun.
What?
And I flipped it. And
With your
I don't
father-in-law?
know- Yeah, like, oh, my son-in-law flipped me. Oh, you. But I don't know if he was like locked into it, and I flipped him, and he didn't disengage. He was still locked in with his legs and his arms, and was there for like 10 seconds, and I was like,
The alpha move.
oh my god.
So the end of the story is he died by.
He's alive.
He didn't, or he saved his life by letting go.
He's no, I flipped it back.
Really?
Yeah.
He won.
He just rotated
Yeah.
back
He
up.
won.
And he was just.
Do you think it was a power move?
Fuck yeah, it was. He can let go of the alligator anytime he wants to.